Hello, my name is Michael Arisman, the designer of Era of Kingdoms, and today I'm going to show off the solo mode, the first solo mode of Era of Kingdoms, which is Race Against the Shadow Kingdom. So for the solo mode, we're just going to need a single game board. You'll start with 2 riches, and the Shadow Kingdom, space for the Shadow Kingdoms card, and the Shadow Kingdom will start with 2 riches. If you are playing with a trade route mini expansion and want the mini expansion trade route draft board here, then we're going to set all 3 decks, the basic deck, intermediate deck, and advanced deck. And I actually pulled the Age of Enlightenment card out, and depending on the difficulty of the solo mode is going to determine where we place that in the advanced deck. So I'm going to place that card, the 5th from the top for the easiest mode in the solo mode. And so the first thing is I'll set up the draft. So I'll start with 6 basic cards. We'll have 3 intermediate cards shown, and then 1 advanced card. If this happens, if you get a play immediately card, it is placed at the bottom, and a new card is drawn. So, to start things off, I'm going to draw 5 cards from the deck, and I do have a chance to put a card back. I'm going to any number of cards back and redraw back up to 5, and now the game will begin. So, I get 3 actions on my turn, just like playing the 2 to 4 player version. The rules for the single player's turns in this mode is identical. So I'm going to play a house. I'm going to play my field down, and I'm actually going to play Oracle. Oracle lets me draw 3 cards and keep 1, and gives me another action. So I'm going to go ahead and draw 3 cards, and pretty tough choice. I'm going to keep Survival Tactics. Now that Oracle gave me another action, so I'm going to play Survival Tactics. This is either draw 2 cards and another action, or it's a reaction that can block a negative event. So I'm going to go ahead, and since we're early in the game, I'm going to use that to get two cards. I get to keep both of them. That card gave me 1 more action, so I can play my 3rd action. And now I can choose to discard or keep my cards. So I am actually going to keep all these cards, and I'm going to draw a forest from the draft. And at the end of your turn, you can discard any number of cards, and then you can either draft or draw a random card to get back up to 5. Since we're just starting out, we can only draw from the basic deck, and I'll get to the other decks in just a little bit. So this is a pretty nice card. We'd be able to play this level 2 card next turn, so I'm going to draft that. So now my first turn's over. I'm going to draw 1 basic card and place it face up for the Shadow Kingdom. This card comes into play immediately for the Shadow Kingdom. It'll give them 2 resources. You could tell at the 2 population resources at the bottom of the card, and 1 victory point. So the Shadow Kingdom's turn is over. When you're just starting out, they only draw 1 basic card at a time per turn. So I've got population from my house, food from my field, and a metal from my mountain, so I can go ahead and play this Great Farmer. Person cards go on the 3 portrait slots, and this guy gives me 2 food and 1 resource, 1 victory point. He also gives me 2 attack in the bottom left, 2 attack, and 2 defense that's used for the combat cards. Then I'm going to play a forest. Oh, I should have played the forest first. That's right. So I needed to play the forest. This guy didn't take any food. But now that I've played the forest, I can play this Great Farmer. And this lumber camp, I need a metal and a population. So I have a population for my house, a metal for my mine. This is a stack card, so it's a level 2. In the top right, there's a stacking icon. I need the base card, so you need a forest to place a lumber camp on top of. So luckily, I just played that. For my 3rd action, I will play the lumber camp. Now I'm going to choose to hang on to these cards. I'm going to choose this stone house. I'm going to choose this farm and another mountain. So I drafted my turn. These cards get replaced, and the Shadow Kingdom draws another card. So this begins my 3rd turn. I'm going to play farm. I have 1 metal and 1 wood, so I'm going to upgrade my field. I'm going to use a stone house to upgrade my house, and I'm going to place another mountain down. Now, single player mode, the pace of the game goes very quickly. I have 3 level 2s in play, and that's the requirement to upgrade my kingdom. If we check at the player turn guide under the deck check phase, if I have 3 level 2 cards in play, I can upgrade to a Town Hall. I can start drawing or drafting 1 intermediate card per turn. So I will place this Town Hall card out and make the tough decision of what I want. So I'm pretty close to being able to play this card, the Lumber Mill. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this as my 1 intermediate. This card gets replaced. I'll choose the Oracle, and I'm looking for metal, so I'm going to take this Mine. Well, actually, I'm going to take the Smelter. So the draft gives you some pretty nice choices. And really, I'm supposed to flip these cards as soon as it's in my best interest because it gives me better odds of what card I want to find. So now that I have upgraded to Town Hall and I'm in the intermediate kingdom phase, the Shadow Kingdom gets to draw 1 intermediate card and 1 basic each turn. So it has not drawn any event cards, but when event cards are drawn by the Shadow Kingdom, there are unique effects that take place. So, back to my turn. I've got 2 wood and 1 population, so I can play my Smelter. This gives me 4 metal, 4 food, 2 population. I can upgrade my lumber camp into a lumber mill. Now, if I just had a level 1 forest, I could still upgrade. If you have a base stacking icon, you only need the base resource to play on top of, or a level 2. So I can go ahead and play that card down. And I still have 1 more action. I'm going to use, let's see. I'm thinking about using my attack card, so let's check my strength here. I've got attack of 5, plus this card gives me 2, that's 7. Now he's drawn a Great Wall, which gives him 2 defense, Archer, which gives him 3 defense, and a Woodsman that gives him 1 defense, so he's at a total of 6. So I can play this crude attack card now, and since my attack plus the card is higher than his defense, I can take 1 of his richest cards. So that will be my 3rd action. I get to draft back up. I'm going to take the estate, replace that. Then I'm going to take the stream, place that card, the mine, replace that card, and then an intermediate card and a basic card is drawn again for the Shadow Kingdom. So my next turn, I'm looking to get 3 level 3s that will bring me to the intermediate deck. So I've got estate. Let's check my resources. I've got 2 food. I've only got 3 wood right now. And this card requires 4, and I do have 4 metal. So in order to play it, I'm going to take this riches that I stole, give it back to the Shadow Kingdom. Oh, he does have 1 wood. So he has a woodsman that gives him 1 wood, so that lets me borrow 1 wood this turn, enough to play my estate, which is a population level 3, so I can upgrade my population stack to the beautiful estate as my first, and using riches does not count for an action. So then I'm going to upgrade to a mine from my mountain and also place a stream. So I have 2 level 3s. I'm looking for 3. So I'm going to take the school card, flip this card over. I'm going to draft the houses, so I have something to upgrade, a base card to upgrade. And I'm going to take this foreman just for the victory points of him. So that was the end of my drafting phase. So the Shadow Kingdom draws over another intermediate and another event card. This particular event card lets them draw 2 basic cards. So the Shadow Kingdom has special effects when it's drawn, and that particular one lets them draw from 2. Not all of them have special effects. Religious Sacrifice does not have an effect, except it gets rid of plagues if I have plagued them. So I have not. So back to my turn. I am still short 1 wood. Oh, you know what? I should have drafted that wood. So what I can do is use an Oracle to give me 3 cards to see if I do get a wood. And you know what? I found a wood card, so a forest. So I'm going to put these 2 back. So the Oracle lets me draw 3, keep 1. I'm going to keep the forest. It also gives me an extra action, so I have 3. So I'll play the forest with my first action. I've got 4 wood, 4 food, 2 metal. I will play down a house and upgrade it to a school as my 3 actions. That gives me 3 level 3 cards. So at this point, I can flip over my town hall to a castle. I'm not sure what happened to that card. I pressed something in Tabletop Simulator and that card disappeared. Oh, there it is. I think I've hidden it. It's still there, just hidden in Tabletop Simulator. So once I reach castle, I can draw or draft one intermediate card. And I do think I will draft this King's Arm, so I'll pull it over here. Flip over a random card for the draft. Then I get two intermediates after reaching a castle. So I'll draft the Great Hall, and I will draft this Priest. So I'll flip over 2 cards to replace them. And that is my turn. So now I have reached advance. The Shadow Kingdom gets to draw an advanced card, 1 intermediate, and 1 basic. It's drawn 3 intermediates, so what happens is it draws 3 random cards and chooses the highest victory point card, which would be the farm. If they're all the same victory point, it would go off of resources. If they're all the same, it would just select one at random. So it gets the farm. Now, on this turn, I can play this Priest. So I've got 4 food, 4 metal, and 4 wood at this point, so I can play him down. I'm looking for a slot to play this Great Wall. I need 7 of 1 resource type. Now let's see, I'm probably pretty close with population. I've got 9. Now I'm just looking to remove something. I might kick this mountain off my field. You can remove cards from your field as long as they're not plagued. And I will play this Great Wall. That was my second action. So King's Arm requires 7 strength or more. I think by playing the Priest, I do in fact have 7, so I can play a victory card. Victory cards go to the side of your board and give you the victory points at the end of the game based on the condition listed. So this will give me 1 victory point for every 2 strength that I have. And then I get to draw again. So I've got Tower. Tower's pretty nice. I'm going to go ahead and draft Tower, flip over the next card, and it is the Age of Enlightenment card. Since it was my draft when this was revealed, I get to keep this card for 1 victory point. I'll flip over the next draft card, and I still get to pick my 2 intermediate cards. So I'm going to get a Blacksmith here as my first one, and I will get the Swordsman for his victory points. A Play Immediately was drawn. Play Immediatelys are in the intermediate and advanced deck and have certain requirements. So this is called Help for the Homeless. Play Immediately, draw 1 intermediate card. So this replaces, I draw 1 card to replace it in the draft. And this particular card goes to the player who has the least amount of wood. So if I quickly count my wood up, I have 4 wood. Now I count all active cards from the Shadow Kingdom. It has 2 from the Woodsman and the Forest. So it does get to keep this card, and it gets 1 extra victory point at the end of the game. So that final draft phase was done. So the Shadow Kingdom gets to draw 1 more advanced, 1 more intermediate, and 1 more basic card. And I play my final turn, and the Shadow Kingdom gets to draw its final turn, and then the game is over. So I've got to try to maximize my victory points. So I'm going to take this Great Farmer and boot him out and play a Swordsman. I have all the requirements listed. And I'm also going to upgrade my mine to a Blacksmith. Now this card requires 7 of any resource. I was mistaken. This only needed 3 metal and 3 wood. I was thinking it was a tower. But for this, I still have 9 population. So I am going to try to maximize by getting rid of my forest, even though it'll put me under 4 wood. As long as everything's in play, it cannot be removed if you dip below those resource requirements. And I'm going to go ahead and play this tower right here, so that'll give me a nice chunk of victory points. It's the end of my turn. I still draw to see if any Play Immediatelys have been drawn, so I'm going to draw 1 advanced and 2 intermediates, and nope. So then the Shadow Kingdom gets 1 final draw, 1 advanced, 1 intermediate, and 1 basic, and now we tally up the points. So from the cards on your board, only the top card counts for victory points, and all sideboard points are calculated. So I've got 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, 14, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23. Then I calculate 1 victory point for every 2 strength that I have. I have 8, so that would give me 4. So I'm going to do 1 final check. 3, 5, 7, 9, 12, 14, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 23, 27. So let me write this down in Tabletop Simulator. 27 is written on the board. So now I count the Shadow Kingdom's victory points. So the first step is to count all victory points facing on any face-up card that they have, followed by any extra they've achieved, as well as the victory card conditions do count. So they have 1, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, 12, 15, 17, 19. Now, I can't remember if I counted this help for the homeless, so I'm going to go ahead and include this in my count. So 1, 2, 5, 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 16, 18, 20, 21, 22. So far 22. So if these 2 victory cards give them more than 7 points, they're going to beat me in this round. So this card gives them 1 victory point for every 2 food. So all of their cards are active, and they got a lot of food cards. So we've got 6, 7, 8, 9. It's divided by 2, round down. So they're looking at 4 victory points for this card. So that would put them at 24. Now this card gives 1 victory point for every 2 wood. They're sitting at 2 wood, so they only get 1 victory point. So they're at 25. I'm at 27. We are victorious in this round. So that is a easy round for the solo mode. And of course, what makes this fun is the variation of what cards the Shadow Kingdom draws based on the restrictions of do you slow down your advancements to try to build your board up, or do you try to quickly rush to that Age of Enlightenment card and try to beat them before they've got too many total cards. So the longer the game goes on, the more cards the Shadow Kingdom will accumulate. And as you can see, the scoring is pretty tight, and of course those random events can have a big impact. The Shadow Kingdom can attack, can steal from you, can take these riches, and you can take them right back. So thanks again for watching. This is the first solo mode, the Race Against the Shadow Kingdom in Era of Kingdoms, live now on Kickstarter. Thank you.